everyone, welcome back to Geordie Journos here at Whitley Park, where we've been speaking to Eddie Howe, not literally on the pitch, but just behind in the Newcastle Media Centre, ahead of the Premier League trip to Crystal Palace. Been a tough week for Newcastle after the 2-0 defeat against West Ham United at St James's Park. Be sure to check out our reaction to that in the video. And of course, all Geordie Journos videos are sponsored by Four Rivers Financial Planning. But now, to the main event, Jordan. Eddie Howe's press conference this morning. What are your big takeaways from that? Because it was actually, we got this on record, the shortest ever Eddie Howe pre-match press conference. Amazing.
Is that
20 minutes.
Official?
It's got to be.
Yeah,
it's a Geordie Journos official stat.
Yeah, there was a few in the room that didn't put the fingers up to the press officer to ask a question. To be fair, we were debating beforehand what to ask.
What to ask, guy.
There'll be supporters out there saying it'll be obvious, but it was.
Why is Tonali not starting, Jordan?
Yeah, I don't
Why?
he was asked about Bruno and Tonali, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was.
Which so he's trained well, Tonali.
He's still. Eddie Howe was asked why is Tonali? How is he feeling? Why is he not necessarily in the team? He's played more minutes for Italy in the Nations League than he has in the Premier League since his return. That's a stat.
I never knew that.
So why have Italy been able to make it work, not Newcastle? And yeah, there's questions to be had for Eddie Howe there, but ultimately Newcastle's form until the West Ham game was decent, and yeah. It doesn't sound like Eddie Howe's overly keen on shoehorning or even putting Sandro Tonali in the team at the moment.
I think the opportunity to put Tonali in was probably Monday, but I don't blame Eddie Howe for naming an unchanged team, because I would have done the same. Obviously, Dan Burn who dropped out, but that's sort of the onus on you. The needing a break, try and break West Ham down. You need sort of like a technical player, and Tonali, as we've seen, can make passes in behind, whereas like sort of Joe Willock and Sean Longstaff, when they need to create, they aren't necessarily the best players to do so, if you like. But going away to Crystal Palace, although I think the onus will be on Newcastle, because of where Palace are in the league, it feels like away from home you've got to be a bit more defensively resolute and try and counter-attack Palace. And does Tonali fit into that three-man midfield? Probably doesn't, which probably seems like a ludicrous thing to say when you consider this is a guy that was signed for £55 million last summer. But I think that's probably an issue that Newcastle have got, is trying to find a place for Tonali in the team and trying to get the best out of Sandro Tonali as well. I don't think Eddie Howe at the minute quite knows how to get the best out of Sandro Tonali, how to fit him into that system and really get him impacting
No,
games.
not necessarily, but there's a degree of a blueprint with Italy where he plays on the left of the midfield three and has done really well. And I thought he came on against Nottingham Forest before the international break on the left of the midfield three, did really well, played an important part in the final two goals with an assist as well for Harvey Barnes. He came on the other night, didn't make an impact. Was
he on the right hand side of the midfield the other night? He was, wasn't he?
I think so.
I wonder why that is, and I wonder why he isn't.
Yeah, he
played
did come on the right.
Yeah, I wonder why he, obviously at Bar Forest, which you mentioned, why he doesn't play on the left hand side.
Yeah, because I thought Joe Willock is an obvious candidate to probably come out on Saturday, given he's had a knock to his ankle, a doubt for the game. Eddie Howe expects he'd probably be all right, depending on training today. But you look at that, you've got Sandro Tonali, who technically wipes the floor with Joe Willock, and Sean Longstaff. So I think there's probably an opportunity for Eddie Howe to put him in the team. But based on what we're gleaning from what Eddie Howe's saying, reading between the lines, I don't think Eddie Howe necessarily thinks the likes of Bruno and Tonali can function together in the same team. Unless the game is a bit more stretched and Tonali's coming on for the closing stages, and then they can really link up well. But
I'm trying to think the last time they started a game together. Have they started a game together this season?
I imagine they have.
I know, of course, Chelsea away.
They started a good few in the row, but they didn't win any of them.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. It's a balance trying to get Tonali and Bruno on the same team. I think it's proven quite hard. I'm not sure Eddie Howe knows how to do it. But maybe that's a change for Crystal Palace, as maybe you do try and put Tonali on the left hand side, but Joe Linton is a better player when Joe Willock is a better player when Joe Linton is ahead of him. So do you go back to that left-hand side formula? But then again, it's moving Anthony Gordon over to the right-hand side. It's just constantly trying to chop and change things to try and find a solution. You're having to play this player out of position or trying to play him in a position he doesn't want to play, and then you're trying to look at the midfield and go, how can I fit him there? There's so many. They've got so many players not playing the preferred positions, if you want to say, and it's causing.
It's a lot of tinkering and not a lot of.
Yeah, like a bit result. I mean, it worked for obviously the games before the international break, but then again, you're upsetting, if you want to say that, a player like Anthony Gordon because he wants to play on the left-hand side.
Well, he's got to deliver on the left.
Yeah, it's all he does.
I was saying to you before the press conference, every time he's scored or assisted this season has been when he's either been playing on the right or up front. He hasn't scored when he's been or assisted when he's been playing on the left, so he has to actually deliver. Whereas Harvey Barnes, as much as we've debated Harvey Barnes' actual qualities, one thing you can't deny is he has end product from the left-hand side, which Anthony Gordon did last season but hasn't. In terms of changes tomorrow, the one change you'd expect to make, Dan Burn coming back from suspension, Lloyd Kelly drops out, as you did say on Monday night's video. Yeah. And then another player who's been debated this week obviously went off injured with a glute problem. Ever had any one of those?
All the time.
Yeah, on Monday, declared a doubt for the game. Eddie Howe said there's a chance he could play, and then right at the end of the press conference, I had a little exchange with him. I think he was just trying to shut me up in the end.
You're trying to get the team news out, and that's why extract team news, which he successfully did.
Yes, because obviously, if Eddie Howe's saying there's a chance Bruno can play, there's also a chance he can't play, is what he was trying to get at. So I went, right, if he's not playing, you haven't won a game when Bruno hasn't played since he signed. I don't think I've quite worded it the best ever, but yeah, since Bruno has signed for Newcastle United, every game he's missed 7 games, Newcastle failed to win all of them. I put that Eddie Howe, I said, how do you play without him? How do you find a way to win games without him? And Eddie Howe basically said, I don't know. And basically, I won't have to know because he's in the team. So, make of that what you will. I took that as Bruno's fine, barring an injury in training today. And then followed that up with, well, if Louis Miley's playing in the 21s, that means surely Bruno's fine because Miley won't travel. Yeah, Miley won't travel. So, yeah. Proper 4D chess with Eddie Howe this morning.
You defeated Eddie Howe. You beat Eddie Howe at chess this morning.
Checkmate on his birthday as well. We both wished him happy birthday.
We did. Which is nice.
Sycophantic, really.
No, that's nice. You'd wish us a happy birthday if you knew.
He would.
I think he would. Like
last press conference was on my birthday. I think I kept it.
You didn't know though. To be fair,
I should have worn a badge.
You should have.
I am wearing a badge.
If you walked in any out press comments, I am 30. Are you 30 this next year?
Yeah, next birthday.
Is it? No, it's not on a press conference, is it? Right, the last press conference before your birthday, right? You're going to put a badge on, and I think Eddie Howe would say happy birthday.
He'd go, what are you doing? That's ridiculous. You're a grown man.
Right.
But enough of that. Yeah. No, the happy birthday thing was like by the end, because that one of mine was the last question. It was like everyone else was wishing him happy birthday. I can't really break that trend at this point.
Yeah, it was.
So I was like, happy birthday.
I think you've got it.
He appreciated it.
I don't
47
know.
today.
Doesn't look it, does he?
Moving on. Dan Burn comes back in, yeah?
100%, yeah. Lloyd Kelly did not do himself any favours on Monday.
Yeah.
Don't get us wrong, there's a lot of bad performers out there, but I'd probably say he was the worst of the lot.
He was, and it's a shame because he's had a few good performances this season. I thought he was excellent against Chelsea. He played well at left back on a couple of occasions. Spurs, I think, stands out for me in the first half.
Didn't he?
Got an assist for Harvey Barnes, and yeah, I think Lloyd Kelly, all in all, has been a decent squad player to add, but when you're having to ask him to start games regularly, I mean, I think he falls in a similar bracket to Dan Burn, and we probably thought Lloyd Kelly's an upgrade on Dan Burn in a lot of ways. He's younger, he's more athletic, he can recover quicker, but yeah, didn't cover himself in glory on Monday night, and Dan Burn, I think, will be a welcome return to the side.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, aerially as well. You
see that first goal against West Ham, no one attacks it. Dan Burn, I mean, he's not necessarily the strongest in the air, but defensively, just because of his height, is important.
I don't think he's necessarily the best in the air for his height.
Well, that's what I mean. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. But it's just because he's a big lad, and he's in that space where Thomas Souček, well, unchallenged really. It was like Kelly's space that obviously Dan Burn would have been there, based on how Newcastle set up for corners, which I'm guessing that's how it would be. It would be like for like. So, but even then, I think probably even Fabian Schär lacked his usual partner. I don't think Fabian Schär was bad against West Ham, but I think he probably...
Distribution-wise, he was bad. I think defensively, he didn't do an awful lot wrong, even though I've seen a lot of comments, people really criticising him as well. I thought defensively, he was okay.
He was probably doing
distribution-wise, he was way off what you'd expect.
I think he was trying to do what Lloyd Kelly wasn't doing, and trying to get that Antonio straight away, whereas Kelly was just starting off him, and Antonio loves all that. He's like a Callum Wilson sort of type, isn't he, where he wants that sort of...
He always shows up against
wrestling.
Newcastle, Antonio.
Yeah, but Lloyd Kelly would just backing off from him, trying to get in a battle with him, and Antonio was a stronger man, and Lloyd Kelly didn't take his opportunity. Could you say he came in from the cold? I suppose you probably could say that, but then based on his Chelsea performance, where he also hadn't played much or at all before he came in against Chelsea, and they couldn't perform well. So yeah, either way you look at it, you could probably argue he did come in from the cold, but he had an opportunity to stake a place, and he didn't do that. So yeah, Dan Burn absolutely comes back in this weekend. There's no doubt about that for me.
Okay, and I think that's probably the only change. I'd like to see Tonali come in. I'll play devil's advocate to you a little bit and say, look, I think Joe Willock, as much as he's brought quality going forward on that left side of the midfield, he was poor, he's taken a knock. Sandro Tonali is fit, ready, technically sound. Get him in the team. You need to find a way to make that midfield work.
Yeah, I agree. But I would play Joe Willock on the basis that Joe Linton continues left hand side, because it's almost like if you pick Joe Willock, you have to pick Joe Willock alongside him, because
the same position almost. It's like interchanging.
Yeah, well, he's trying to interchange with Gordon on Monday. And Dovetail, yeah, but just wasn't the same. Joe Willock was really poor on that first half, actually. I think even within the first
I thought everyone was really.
Yeah, I mean, I think
the fullbacks probably the only ones who cover themselves in any sort of glory.
Yeah,
but even
Lewis Hall's been the most consistent before.
Lewis Hall was good. I thought Tino Livramento was decent, just lacked the final ball, barring a couple.
Which is nothing we don't know about him. He's got big quality. He's got big improvements to make in terms of his impact in the attacking third. I say if you had Livramento and you give him Kieran Trippier's right foot, he'd be one hell of a fullback.
Yeah,
one hell of a right back. But yeah,
it's not that easy. And yeah, against Crystal Palace this weekend, a team who have struggled this season, 1 win in 12, beat Newcastle 2-0 at Selhurst Park last season. Obviously plenty of talk surrounding Mark Gay in the summer. Eddie Howe was asked, but didn't really bite, didn't he, about Mark Gay?
Nah, he was never going to. When you ask about individuals, he did say he's a good player, but that was as far as
he said I'd hope to know a lot about any opposition player, not just Mark Gay, which is obviously a player Newcastle tried to sign.
What's the odds on him having a good game this weekend? Mark Gay.
Evens.
I'm going to go 1-2.
Okay.
No, I think it'll be the talk after if he ends up having a good game. It's like
scoring ahead or something.
Yeah, something. Yeah. It's almost like written in the stars for if Crystal Palace win, we'll end up be talking about. Well, we won't, but they'll be talking about Mark Gay. You'll all go back to that in January about needing a defender, whatever. I mean, we're talking about. I was talking at the start about having to move players around, and it almost comes back. The front three comes back because I've got a good right forward. That's a problem. Yeah. You're putting Anthony Gordon over at the right, so you can get Joe Linton. But then, if realistic, you could have a battle between Joe Linton and Anthony Gordon on the left hand side. Anthony Gordon is not undroppable, but
no, he's not.
You've got that right hand side where you've got Jacob Murphy and Almiron, and Almiron's by looks are totally. I wouldn't say frozen out, but he's not getting games, is he?
No, he was ready to come on the other night, and
Jacob Murphy's ahead of him. Yeah. Jacob Murphy's,
which is what we would have had probably the back end of last season, start of this season. You would have went Jacob Murphy as above Almiron in the pecking order.
It wasn't like that.
He was towards the back end of last season in pre-season, which you can't read too much into. He had the end product, which Almiron simply didn't.
Yeah.
Basically since about this time last year.
Well, there was a story in the Telegraph this week by Luke Edwards saying that Almiron would be allowed to leave in January, and that to me is no surprise.
He's been allowed to leave effectively.
He has, yeah. They were willing to let him go in January. There was talks held in the summer of his future. I ended up staying. of course, media. Yeah, Charlotte FC was one of them, but an MLS club. I remember when the interest first came about, we're looking for their wages. It's like our transfer fees, and I think it would have been the highest in Charlotte's history for
a 30-year-old who isn't quite.
How much is he worth? He's got 2 years left in his contract. And according to his agent, he's got an extra year. I think
18 months. His agent,
So 2027, I think it was. So how much do you command for a? Because his stock's gone now. They could have probably sold him. They could have got a good 20-25 million for him if they'd have sold him at the right time. But they've held on. And what is he worth now? He probably is 10 to 15 million pounds. And I would probably take that. Because of the PSR issues as well. Like, of course, when you sign a player at PSR, 50 million, whatever, 5-year contract, it's 10 million a year. Whereas at least with when you sell a player, you sell him for 15 million pound. It's 15 million pound straight in your pocket if that's where you want to put it. So
which turns into like 45 million if you want to amortise that over a few years. So moving on. Callum Wilson was obviously returned off the bench. I thought he only had 4 touches, but he was lively in the game. He hustled and bustled, had a shout for a penalty, which probably could have been, and now against Palace, scored a very good goal against Palace a few years back.
I did, the basic looking.
Yeah, so I think having Callum Wilson back is a big boost, but he spoke about having to stay fit and how he's taking measures to try and stay fit, and how maybe he had to be more patient and delay his return to playing in order to really make sure his body's in the best place possible and he avoids repeat injuries, which is obviously important for any player, but particularly Callum Wilson.
Yeah, his injury record's been abysmal this year, and I think I actually felt, because he'd done an interview after the game and he spoke about being a torrid time for him. Which I can imagine has been. Obviously, with, there's sort of jokes among people that Callum Wilson get on the pitch and stuff, and we're shocked at seeing things like that. But I can imagine it's been a really challenging time for him. Was it, I think, 7-8 Premier League appearances? I've actually seen a stat the other day. I think Sven Botman's made more Premier League appearances this year than Callum Wilson.
Yeah, he will have.
I'm saying that. I need to double check that. But
I think you're right.
Yeah. But as we've always said with Callum Wilson, if he stays fit, and he will score goals. It's just about keeping him on the pitch. And he spoke to the press after the game on Monday, and he spoke about how he's almost had like a coaching where it was even looking at things like his sleep and his diet and all that.
Really in-depth stuff.
So look, hopefully that pays dividends. But I think Callum Wilson is a player that's been very injury prone. Is that going to all of a sudden go away?
Yeah.
Probably not.
It would be naive to think that. So Callum Wilson's not getting any young guy, 33 in February, so to take all the different processes on board and try and make things better for him, then fair play. Do what you got to do, Callum. As long as it gets you on the pitch, fit, happy, playing, then that's fine with me. But out of contract in the summer.
He's
not thinking about it.
He's not thinking about it, but he loves the club. And it's right. If he scores goals, that'll probably do the talking for him, and the negotiations for him. But we'll be over that. I'm not going to debate the contract situation. No, but if he starts scoring goals, then it gives you a different conversation having by the end of the season.
Yeah, Eddie Howe said he thinks Callum Wilson's contract is on his mind, but he's got plenty of incentives to try and earn a new one. But didn't really go all in with it. And another player he didn't really go all in on, I'll get to your question, Fabian Schär. 200 appearances for the club.
I forgot about that.
He's out of contract at the end of the season. We did a video recently debating whether he should be offered a new one. I think we were quite unanimous that he should be offered a new one. And I reckon that's probably a little bit divisive among supporters, particularly people who watched the West Ham game. But what did Eddie Howe say to that?
Said he would love him to stay. He's an integral part of what they do. Describe him as absolutely sensational at times for him, which
he has been.
To be fair, I mean, he has. I think we've done a video. Was he either early on last season, or early on this year, when we spoke about Fabian Schär being a world-class performer for this in this Newcastle team. And he has been. I think probably bar Jacob Murphy's featured the most on Eddie Howe. Rarely missed a game. Always fit.
Jacob Murphy missed loads, man.
Yeah, but Do you think Fabian Schär's played the most? I think he
Jacob
has.
Murphy missed 3 months last season.
Yeah,
Fabian Schär's never
missed
missed
yeah.
any game.
Do the maths. I should do the maths.
Yeah.
Fabian Schär is always fit, largely reliable. 90% of the time has been reliable.
Yeah.
So for me,
somehow always fit as well, despite taking a knock every game.
But he's I think he deserves a new deal. 1 year deal would be the ideal, but I think maybe for him you would want a 2-year contract. When you get that age, you want a bit of security. I would still give him a 2-year contract. What are you gonna do? I mean, you let him go at the end of the season. That's you let him go for free anyway. Yeah. You give him a new contract. You're not even if you were to give him a new contract, you're not going to make that much money off him because of his age. And they only paid £3 million for him, so it's not like you're losing money on him really. Yeah. He deserves a new contract. Look, is he in 12 months' time? Is he going to be the number 1 starting right-sided centre back?
But that's what he has to think about as well, doesn't he? So
oh yeah, true. Yeah. But
is he going to be happy at spending the twilight years of his career potentially on the bench? But no, Newcastle, because quite sentimental players. If Fabian Schär can continue to perform at a decent level, then why wouldn't he be in the team? Well, who wins?
Yeah, but new deal for me. New deal for you?
Yes.
And a new deal from Eddie Howe. Right. It's been a fun one. Yeah, we've really tried to sell a 20-minute press conference. I think we'll have.
No, I have. Definitely. Happy birthday, Eddie, if you're watching this. And Geordie Journos, if you like what we do, please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe. If you want a nice Christmas present, there's the Geordie Journos shop. We'll put the link in the description. There's a nice t-shirt. Liam was sporting one the other day. There's mugs, coasters, bit of everything. So if you've...
Hoodies, we're trying to get one.
Aye, good.
Yeah.
So, just in time for Christmas. Why not, if you're a fan? Even if you're not. If you want to... It's high quality stuff. Yeah. So all that, and then of course every Geordie Journos video is sponsored by 4 Rivers Financial Planning, and we'll be back tomorrow at Selhurst Park, joined by Liam Kennedy, to reflect on Newcastle's match against Crystal Palace, which will hopefully be a slightly more positive one than the last game against West Ham. Newcastle looking to bounce back, and we'll be there. So stay tuned, and we'll see you there.